Alright guys, welcome back to another gaming video. Today I'm doing an advertising video and I decided I was just going to run Ultimate Custom Night in the background while I talk about this. This is essentially a dice throwing video, but I did want to do a little bit of background to keep you guys a little bit entertained, so here we go. Basically what is happening is on the Dice Throne official Discord, there is a tournament that is happening in the homebrew community. It is a tournament that basically all you need to do is join the Discord, and then you can come up with your own Dice Throne homebrew template. There's an auto template that you can use, but there's also a GIMP and Adobe Pro template that you can use as well if you want to do your own custom graphic package. It's very simple. It's a very simple auto template. It's basically a Google Sheets. You can also do a Microsoft Excel if you have Excel. But basically, advertising this out is because I would like to see a lot of new people participate, because usually we only have around 6 to 7 people, and it's really made for maybe 20 to 25 people. So I was hoping that maybe I would get some people to join and do this. Now, it is entirely free to do. It's just a Discord server. You pop in, say hello, and then you join the tournament by just basically saying that you want an artifact. The artifact is the baseline of the tournament. Basically, the tournament is based on who is the most creative with what they're given. So the artifact is the main thing that this tournament is about. Basically, it's who can be the most creative with what they're given. And you're probably wondering, what is an artifact in relation to Dice Throne? Well, it is an incomplete build. It's an incomplete build of a character, and you're basically going to have to customize that character. You're basically given a terrible designed character, and you want to redesign it in your own light. You can change whatever you want about the character as long as it remains in the similar build. There's some things you have to keep. For instance, if there's tokens, there's certain tokens you'll have to keep, but for the most part you can do whatever you want. So there are certain things you have to keep on the board, like for instance the defensive roll, it will probably stay the same. There's also some things like you could be given a Dice Throne official character, let's say you're just given the straight barbarian from Dice Throne. You can do whatever you want to his kit, but it has to stay the barbarian. You can't do anything else, it has to be the barbarian. You can change his moveset, you can change his tokens, but you have to keep the barbarian theme. You cannot change it to anything else. His board will remain the same. You can change what's on the board, like what a full house versus a small straight and large straight do, but the board all remain the same. The move names will be the same, but the tokens can change. It's just that the dice, the move names, and the barbarian theme must stay, but everything else can change. So there are many different artifacts you can get. You can get official Dice Throne character. The tournament organizers have made their own custom characters that are basically broken, as in they're unplayable. You basically would have to balance them out. And there are 3 different tiers of artifact you can get. One is a completely blank slate, or a broken character. Basically, it is a character that is so unplayable that it's basically you have to do at least something to make it playable. It could have incomplete dice. It could have no deck of cards, so you have to make your own deck of cards. It can have moves that are blank, so it's just like a blank Moon Elf template. It has the Moon Elf template, the logo of the board and everything, but all the moves are blank, all the combinations are the same, so you have to come up with your own combinations, do you want a full house, 2 of a kind, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, small straight, large straight, 4 6s, stuff like that. Or you can make a passive as well, but it can just be a completely blank slate, so you have to do your own thing. So that's basically how the first tier. The second tier, as they have said, will always have something. You'll have a deck of cards, you'll have dice. The dice will be colored. You don't have to worry about coloring, but you can change the colors if you want to. Again, there's a template. There's other people as well that can lead you through the tutorial if you don't know how to use the template. There is a tutorial video you can watch on how to do the template, but essentially this is just an advertisement on the tournament itself. But yeah, the second tier is basically you'll get your own dice. Everything will be set up except for something. It'll be incomplete somehow. Basically, it'll just be maybe there are no tokens. There are no tokens. there are certain moves that are blank, but there's still the combinations are set. Sometimes moves will have all their text, but the combinations won't be set. So you'll have to set the combinations yourself. Sometimes the moves will be blank themselves, like they'll just say ability name 1, ability name 2. So you'll have to set the moves yourself, but otherwise it's just going to basically be a baseline set. It won't be as bad as just having nothing, like tier 1, which will have basically nothing and you'll have to make it all yourself, but it's also you have to do at least something. So that's really realistically, let's see here, but yeah, those are and then the third tier is just going to be a dice thrown character, or a official build will just be made. All four, the build will be made for you. You'll just have to make it better, because the thing about this tournament is not about the artifact. Again, if you get a tier 1 artifact, you will be given, it will just be like if you want to challenge yourself. Again, it's randomized, so you may not even get a tier 1, and sometimes you can volunteer for a tier 1 artifact if you don't like tier 2 or tier 3. Honestly, there's talk about being able to choose your artifact. If you choose a tier 3, you have to do a tier 1. So basically, if you pick the tier 2, you can do a tier 3. But if you pick a tier 3 as your first artifact, your second one has to be a tier 1. And if you pick a tier 1, then you can pick a tier 3. But you can't just pick 2 tier 3s. You could pick 2 tier 2s. But if you pick a tier 3, you have to do a tier 1. And a tier 1 vice versa. Now you can do a tier 1 and a tier 2. That's totally fine. But if you do a tier 3, if you want to do a second one, or even a third one, you have to do at least one tier 1 if you want to do multiple tier 3s. So that's really the basics of the tournament. You're given a build of a dice thrown character. Tier 3 is probably going to be an official one that has everything except it's just bad and you need to make it better. Tier 2, there's going to be some things missing, but most of the basics, like a dice thrown deck of cards, dice, and some move sets, and some of the board abilities and elements will be there. You'll just have to add a little bit, finish the build, and then make it creative. And then tier 1 is basically nothing. Basically, you're given a broken character, a blank template for the most part, and you've got to make it better. So yeah, that's pretty much the tournament. Now, I will say that, again, only like 6 to 7 people are actually signed up to it, but last year they said that they peaked at 32. So we're 25 players off on the numbers. So it's kind of like the summer's starting, you know, school is out, unless you're taking summer classes, sorry. But if you're working, obviously they say that if you're doing summer school or classes, prioritize those first, honestly. But if you're able to do the tournament, it runs from May 28th to June 28th. So basically you can be, it's just a full month. So you're given your artifacts and you have a month to make a playable character. You have to go through all the steps in order to make a playable character, which I'll go over those as well, since if you're watching this video, you're kind of completely blank to the concept. But basically what I'm saying is that you make the character with the auto template, GIMP, Adobe Pro, or you can make it Microsoft Paint as well, even though that's not really recommended. But the auto template's there if you want to make it, if it's your first official character. The auto template does pretty much everything. It looks exactly like an official dice thrown character. So you don't have to worry about the artistic side of it, except you can make your own background and images and card art if you want. But again, you can also just go online and find assets that are free. And also people can just make it for you if you ask nicely. They can make it for you, but basically the auto template will do everything if it is your first character. Now once you have your character for the auto template, you've tested it out, it loads, you will post it in the feedback section of the Discord. Again, I'm going to link the Discord in the description of this video. You can go to the official Dice Throne Discord, which I'll also link, but basically you want to go to this Discord and you want to submit yourself into the tournament, and they will sign you up to get your artifact. So you get your artifact, you do your build, you submit it to feedback, you'll get feedback. You can choose to listen to it. You don't have to listen to it, but it is, if they do say that your character is kind of boring, you probably want to make it more creative because, again, you're trying to win. Or they say that your character is kind of one note. Maybe you want to make it a little bit more creative. Again, you're trying to win. But if they do say your character is unplayable, that's the bad thing. You gotta do some edits to make your character playable if they say it's unplayable. But once you're done with feedback, you make your edits, it loads it again, then you get into the playtesting phase. And that is when you have people playtest your game either in TTS, they can do it online on other stuff as well, playcards.io, but Tabletop Simulator is pretty much the best way to do it. There are other ways to do it as well. I'm trying to remember the program, but you can just do a one-on-one without cards. You can also playtest it yourself if you want to, but it will be playtested eventually by a judge when it is finally submitted, which gets us onto the submission phase. And I'll finish this up real quick by saying, once you're done with playtesting, you post your playtest results. If you do it on TTS, more likely your design's going to win, I will say. But if you do it on your own end and you do a 1v1 without cards and then a 1v1 with cards on other programs, you just submit it, submit your playtest results for feedback. If they say it's all good, you finalize your character and then you submit it. You submit the artifact, so submit what your character looked like before you added your edits, and then after, so pre-edits, and then after you built it into your finalized build to the judges, and they'll judge how creative you were with what you got. Again, if you got a tier 3, 9 times out of 10 the judges are going to be a little bit more scrutinized because the tier 3 artifact means that you got a little bit more than a tier 1. So honestly, in my eyes, getting a tier 1 or tier 2 artifact makes you in a better position because less scrutiny from the judges. But it all comes down to you. If you're creative, then it works, and don't worry about being artistic. I'm not an artist. Obviously, I don't make that many good creative. I'm not really good at making like drawing stuff or painting. I definitely can't use Photoshop that well, as you can clearly see from my thumbnails. But I just think this is a really good thing, and honestly, it's free to do. It's free time. If you have time to do it and you're just not busy, all you need is just stable connection to the internet. And honestly, you can just go to Barnes & Noble like I do sometimes, log in, and then just spend a few minutes to maybe 1 to 2 hours out of like 2 to 3 days between May 28th and June 28th. It really doesn't take that long to work on a character if you know how to do it like I do. But again, I've made over 50 characters, so I do know what I'm doing, so maybe it takes a little bit longer for you. But I do think it's something that you should do, and I really do appreciate everyone who does take the time to think about it and maybe go on board with the ship. But anyway, I'll see you guys. I'll link this down below in the description, the Homebrew Discord where the tournament is happening. I'll also release the official Dice Throne Discord that you can join so that you can talk about rules, like if your character has custom rules or you're just curious about official rules, like if you get an artifact that is just a carbon copy of an official Dice Throne character like Barbarian, then maybe you want to ask like, hey, how does this character work? How do you guys people feel? Just a little bit of a side note, people absolutely hate the Barbarian in Dice Throne, so maybe you want to see what people hate about him, fix him up, and make him better so that everyone in the Dice Throne community, what they want him to be fixed, maybe you make those fixes and make him into what people like about him, which is very few things. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll link those two down in the description below, as well as the DiceThrone.com shop Dice Throne stuff if you want to see the rules as well. I'll also reference the official rule set for Dice Throne as well. Those 4 links will be in the description, but the Homebrew Discord server is where the tournament is happening. It's, again, free to sign up, free to play. You can play the tournament, invite your friends, family, whoever has creative juices and wants to make their own board game, because this is essentially what it is. It's a fast-paced, Yahtzee-style Dice Throne board game, and I do think it is very fun to play and enjoy. But anyway, guys, I'll see you guys next time. Like if you like, dislike if you don't, subscribe down below if you're new to the channel. And again, I'll see you guys in the tournament if you want to play along with us. Toodaloo!